Good evening, everyone. All dear parents, I welcome you all on the occasion of Autism Awareness Week. And today's session, it is organized by GDPP chapter of IAP in collaboration with I Am the Best Mom. I, Dr. Ashwini Godbole, on behalf of all of this, I welcome Dr. Anjana Thadani ma'am as well as Dr. Suneel Godbole for this parental burnout session. So, first I will be introducing Anjana ma'am. So, Anjana ma'am, she is consultant developmental pediatrician. She runs a learning disability clinic at KEM Hospital and SET GS Medical College, Mumbai. She is director Niramay Hospital and Guidance Clinic at Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, national chairperson of the GDPP chapter IAP. She is national coordinator for Cradle to Crayon and Beyond Module IAP Action Plan, national convener Cradle to Crayon EI Module IAP Action Plan 2018 and Basics of Behavior Module IAP Action Plan 2019. She is director of Pahel Services, a non-profit focused on organization on the medical and education. Now here, once again, Anjana ma'am, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I will introduce Dr. Suneel Godbole. He is a developmental pediatrician from Pune. He is working as a developmental pediatrician at Chiranjeev Child Diet and Development Center at Pune since 20 years. He is HOD Small Steps at Morris Autism Child Development Center, Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital and Research Center. He is a National Secretary, GDPP Chapter IAP 2022. He is TOT for IAP 2016 Cradle to Crayon and Beyond IAP Behavior Module. He is trained in Belly 3, BIS 4 and Cornwall. Especially he is trained at Klinikum mit Bremen, Germany. He is having several articles on his name as well as author of 9 Marathi books and several workshops. So with this introduction,
before going ahead, I think I need to I'm having a very interesting starting for the day because we are having somebody who is teaching me, that's Dr. Anjana Thadani. She is there. So she is the one who reduces my burnout. So we'll start with that. And on the top of the icing on the cake is my wife was saying so many good words about me. So this is another interesting thing for me. So with that note, let's go ahead with today's program.
Yes, sir. So today's topic is parental burnout. So actually, what is parental burnout? Many parents might be thinking in their mind. तो ये ज्यादा तरीके का एग्जॉशन हो गया, अगर पेरेंट्स का इनइफेक्टिवनेस हो गया, या तो दे वांट टू डू इमोशनल डिस्टेंसिंग फ्रॉम देयर चाइल्ड, और ये सभी चीजें बिकॉज ऑफ क्रोनिक पेरेंटिंग स्ट्रेस की वजह से हो गई, तो इससे पेरेंटल बर्नआउट बोला जाता है. ये रियल चीज है, इट इज नॉट इमेजिनरी. और पेरेंट्स उनको जानना चाहिए कि जब आप ऑटिज्म का बच्चा हैंडल कर रहे हैं तो ये होने वाला है, और इसके साथ आप रिजेंटमेंट फॉर द चाइल्ड, रिजेंटमेंट फॉर द स्पाउस हो सकता है, एंड ओवरऑल एग्जॉशन हो सकता है. एंड द चाइल्ड विद ऑटिज्म इज वेरी सेंसिटिव. Dear parents, if you have become burnout, exhausted, your child will perceive all those emotions. So place yourself in a good state of emotion. For that purpose, today's session is. So my first question is to Anjana ma'am. Why parental burnout happens in parents caring the children with autism?
Thank you, Dr. Ashwini. It is a great pleasure to be here. और I believe काफी पेरेंट्स हमें सुन रहे हैं, और जो नहीं भी सुन रहे हैं तो रिकॉर्डेड सेशन में दे विल लिसन, एंड आई थिंक द मैसेज शुड गो अक्रॉस. सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम आई थिंक इज ऑल्सो हैपन ड्यूरिंग द कोविड पीरियड. काफी पेरेंट्स में भी डेवलपमेंटल पीडियाट्रिशियंस हमने जितना ऑटिज्म ये पीरियड में देखा है उससे पहले नहीं देखा. So what has also happened is the parents have become aware. There is also a lot of information. See, there is a whole plethora of information available. आज आपने अगर as a parent बच्चे में एक symptom देखा है eye contact का, कि बच्चा मुझे eye contact नहीं दे रहा है, पूरा टाइम अपने स्क्रीन पे है, and immediately there is a element of going to the Google, Dr. Google, figuring it out and doing a कोलैबोरेटिव सेल्फ डायग्नोसिस। तो काफी बार एटलीस्ट डॉक्टर आई थिंक डॉक्टर सुनील गोडबोले विल आल्सो एग्री कि ये हमने काफी बच्चों को देखा है जिनको कि पेरेंट्स ने हमारे पास लेके आए हैं विद द सेल्फ डायग्नोसिस एंड ऑल्सो विद अ लॉट ऑफ एंजाइटी। ये बच्चों को जब हमने इवेलुएट किया ऑन द पैरामीटर्स जो हमारे होते हैं, जो काफी, क्योंकि इनके क्राइटेरियाज होते हैं, एक सिम्टम को हम ऑटिज्म नहीं बोल सकते हैं, वो पेरेंट्स को समझना चाहिए। अगर बच्चा स्पीच डिले है या खाली आई कांटेक्ट नहीं दे रहा है तो वो ऑटिज्म नहीं हो जाता है। तो ऑटिज्म को डायग्नोस करने के लिए पूरे सारे सिम्टम्स होने चाहिए, तो ही हम ऑटिज्म को डायग्नोस करते हैं। ऑटिस्टिक फीचर्स हो सकते हैं, बच्चा शाय हो सकता है, बच्चा इंट्रोवर्ट हो सकता है। तो एक तो मुझे लगता है पेरेंट्स का एंजाइटी लेवल इसकी वजह से भी काफी हाई होता है। तो इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट दे गो टू द राइट पर्सन। सेल्फ डायग्नोसिस, गेटिंग इन्फॉर्मेशन इज नॉर्मल, हर कोई करता है। वी ऑल्सो गो एंड गूगल आउट सो मेनी थिंग्स, बट सेल्फ डायग्नोसिस ना करें। अगर उनको कोई सिम्टम्स लग रहे हैं तो एटलीस्ट वो एक प्रोफेशनल को मिलके उसके ऊपर ध्यान दें, तो उससे उनका एंजाइटी लेवल कम होगा। So that I think is one of the major reasons which I feel parental burnout का है.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Now I will turn to Suneel. So Dr. Godbole, I will be heading toward the second question. Before that, would you like to add something in the first part?
Yeah, पहले part में as madam has rightly said कि we are all getting this stress, but is it only with autism? ये तो हर एक के बाद होता है. It is not that it is only our children with autism. हम लोग भी एज व्हेन वी वर चिल्ड्रन, अभी हम सब पेरेंट्स है, जब हम चिल्ड्रन थे तब हैव वी मेड आवर पेरेंटल बर्नआउट? यस, हमने उनको भी थका दिया है। हाँ, ऐसा नहीं है कि द थिंग्स आर ओनली विद ऑटिज्म, बट ऑटिज्म में ज्यादा बार होता है क्योंकि इट हैज टू बी वर्क वेरी फ्रीक्वेंटली एंड वेरी अगेन एंड अगेन, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी गेट एग्जॉस्टेड। और यहाँ पे सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट क्या है, एक इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट है कि चिल्ड्रन आर मिररिंग अस। तो मैं सब मदर्स को और पापा को लोगों को बोलता हूँ कि भैया ध्यान में रखो, जब आप एंग्शियस होने वाले, बच्चा इरिटेबल होने ही वाला है। और जब बच्चा रोता है और उस वक्त आप उसको मैनेज नहीं कर पाए, वो भी उसको समझता है। आपको ऐसा लगेगा वो आपके तरफ देखता नहीं है, ही मे नॉट बी हैविंग आई कांटेक्ट, बट इज इट लुकिंग, डज ही अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू आर गेटिंग एग्जॉस्टेड? ही डज अंडरस्टैंड। उसको जब समझता है कि मम्मी पापा भी मैनेज नहीं कर पा रहे, तो और कौन करेगा? एंड देन इट एंड्स अप इनटू अनदर साइकिल ऑफ गेटिंग स्ट्रेस। सो पेरेंटल बर्नआउट पे आज क्यों बोलने वाले हैं, उसका रीजन वही है कि खुद को पहले मैनेज करें and then you manage this. I think we'll go on with the next question. Time is less.
Dr. Godbole, now the question is, what are the signs of parental burnout? Means how parents can know कि मुझे parental burnout हुआ है. Okay.
I think I'll ask the parental the parents who are here in this particular meeting. आप भी आपके खुद को थकाने वाले, खुद को एग्जॉस्ट करने वाले, फटीग करने वाले और गुस्सा करने वाली चीजों पे आप चैट बॉक्स में आपके साइंस, आपके तकलीफ है, स्टार्ट राइटिंग देम। तब तक मैं बाकी लिस्ट बताता हूँ। लिस्ट मेरे लिए बहुत सिंपल है। माय लिस्ट गोज विद द नेमोनिक स्मार्ट। सो व्हाट इज स्मार्ट? तो पहला एस जो है, एस माने स्लीप, जो मुझे सबसे अच्छी लगती है। सो सबसे पहले गड़बड़ कहाँ पे शुरू होती है? जब हम थकने लगते हैं, जब एग्जॉस्ट होने लगते हैं, तब अपनी स्लीप खराब होने लगती है। सो हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हमें आज नींद आ ही नहीं रही है और नींद डिस्टर्ब हो रही है, एंड दैट इज वन ऑफ द एरिया वेयर वी आर लुकिंग एट दैट कुछ तो हो रहा है, आई एम अनेबल टू मैनेज माई स्लीप, मुझे और स्लीप नींद चाहिए और मुझे नींद आ ही नहीं रही। ये कुछ पेरेंट को सुबह 4 बजे सपना आता है कि मेरा बच्चा तमाशा कर रहा है कि अपने घर की चीजें दूसरे के घरों में फेंक रहा है, कुछ भी दिमाग में आता है, उनकी स्लीप डिस्टर्ब हो जाती है। सो स्लीप डिस्टर्बेंस इज द फर्स्ट fatigue sign or the exhaustion sign. Now the M comes with the mood swings. Yes, I think 2 of the parents are coming on this mood swing only. Part 1, overthinking. तो एक साइड पे बहुत सोचने लगते कैसे होगा मेरे बच्चे का, और उसमें हमारे मूड अभी अच्छे रहते हैं। 1 मिनट पहले हम बच्चे के साथ खेलते रहते हैं, फिर दिमाग में आता है, लाइफ के आगे की सोच दिमाग में पड़ने लगती है और हमारा दिमाग डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है। एब्सोल्युटली राइट रणजीत, कमिंग विद द पॉइंट दैट ओवरथिंकिंग इज वन ऑफ द कॉज। और एक लगता है इस मूड स्विंग में सुबह शुरुआत अच्छी होती है, दोपहर को मूड चला जाता है, फिर शाम दोपहर को एक चाय पिया थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है। ये मूड स्विंग इतने होने लगते हैं कि अपने आजू बाजू के लोग नोटिस करते हैं। टिपिकली हस्बैंड बोलने लगते हैं अपने वाइफ्स को कि मैं आजकल आपका मूड बहुत खराब रहता है, अब मेरे साथ भी झिकझिक करते रहो, बच्चे के साथ तो करते हो, मेरे साथ भी कर रहे हो। और ये मूड स्विंग्स अल्टीमेटली लैंड्स अप इनटू पेरेंटल फाइट्स और बाद में पता चलता है अरे मैंने क्यों गुस्सा किया इस छोटी सी चीज पे, और उससे और तकलीफ होती है। यू स्टार्ट ओवर थिंकिंग ऑफ दैट अगेन कि मैंने क्यों किया, मैंने मेरे बच्चे को क्यों मारा, मेरे बच्चे को चिड़चिड़ापन क्यों किया। एंड दैट इज द सेकंड पार्ट, दैट इज मूड स्विंग। तो पहला स्लीप, सेकंड मूड स्विंग, थर्ड एंग्जाइटी। अभी छोटी छोटी चीजों का टेंशन आने लगता है। जो चीज आप आराम से मैनेज कर पा रही थी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपके घर का खाने वाने का काम आप बहुत आसान से पहले मैनेज करती थी, अभी वापस छोटा टेंशन आता है, आज चावल अच्छा पकेगा कि नहीं, मेरे हाथ की जो बिरयानी आपके हाथ की खाने के लिए 10 लोग आते हैं, वो बिरयानी आज अच्छी होने के लिए, और ये टेंशन आपको एंग्जाइटी अपने को खाने लगती है। छोटी छोटी चीजों में हमें एंग्जाइटी आने लगती है। आज गैस चला जाएगा तो रोज के सिंपल प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं अपने लिए बड़े प्रॉब्लम्स बन जाते हैं, अपने लिए वो यूक्रेन और रशिया का वॉर बन जाता है। सो दैट इज एंग्जाइटी एंड दैट स्टार्टेड क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम। उससे और क्या होता है, एब्सोल्युटली मालिनी मैडम हैज सेड वेरी राइटली दैट अपना कॉन्फिडेंस चला जाता है। So you start feeling that the confidence is going down, and unfortunately confidence जाने का और एक काम कर रहा था, एंग्जाइटी बढ़ती कहाँ पे, हमारी एक बहुत बुरी आदत है, एंड दैट इज वन थिंग ऊपर वाले ने ह्यूमन बीइंग में गड़बड़ करके रखे, हमने कंपैरिजन करने को सीखा है। हर टाइम हम दूसरों की तरफ देखते हैं, दूसरे के बच्चे। इसलिए मेरे एक मैडम ने मुझे बहुत सही बोला था कि मेरे कॉलेज के टीचर ने कि भैया एक ध्यान में रखो, कभी दूसरे की बीवी और दूसरे के बच्चों की तरफ मत देखो, बहुत तकलीफ होगी। And I still go with that sentence कि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि एंग्जाइटी एड्स टू दैट लो कॉन्फिडेंस कंपैरिजन विद अदर्स, एंड दैट रियली शैटर्स आवर माइंडसेट। एंड एक बार हम इसमें हो गए तो फिर क्या हो जाता है, द नेक्स्ट आर कम्स, पहले स्लीप, मैं टीचर जैसे बोल रहा हूँ, सॉरी फॉर दैट, मूड स्विंग्स, एंग्जाइटी, चौथा रन डाउन, यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग रिकरेंट इलनेसेस। हर टाइम आपको टायर्ड लगता है, हर टाइम लगता है मेरा सिर दुख रहा है, पेट दुख रहा है, पीठ दुख रहा है, कुछ ना कुछ होता ही रहता है, और सच्ची में होता भी है। ऐसे देखा गया है, द पर्सन हु इज एग्जॉस्टेड लैंड्स अप इनटू रिकरेंट इम्यूनिटी चली जाती है। सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट साइन ऑफ पेरेंटल फटीग और बर्निंग आउट। एंड लास्ट पार्ट इज द टाइम मैनेजमेंट गड़बड़ होने लगे। हर टाइम लगता है कितना भी करे मेरा टाइम कम ही पड़ रहा है। हम लोग आपको कुछ थेरेपी सिखाते और बोलते हैं घर पे करो, और आपको लगता है मैं कर ही नहीं पा रहा, एंड दैट इज अबाउट छोटी छोटी चीजों में हम डिस्टर्ब होने लगते हैं। और इसका दूसरा एंड भी रहता है, आई एम वेरी श्योर दैट यहाँ पे कुछ ऐसे पेरेंट्स हैं, दे आर वर्किंग सो हार्ड विद देयर पेरेंट, उसका एंड पॉइंट क्या हो जाता है, वो उतने बच्चों में इतने घुस जाते हैं, तो उतने बच्चे थोड़ा भी यहाँ वहां करना तो डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं। ये पॉसेसिवनेस, अगेन शुभांगी मैडम हैज सेड राइटली अबाउट इट, पॉसेसिवनेस बन जाता है। सो आई थिंक टुवर्ड्स माय लिस्ट यू आर आल्सो एडिंग द राइट वे ऑफ गेटिंग द साइंस ऑफ पेरेंटल बर्नआउट। सो मुझे पता चल रहा है कि यहाँ पे हम सब लोग इसमें से गुजर चुके हैं और गुजर रहे हैं। आई थिंक विद दैट विल गो अहेड।
Now next question to Anjana ma'am. Ma'am, what are the tools to identify the parental burnout so that parents को खुद को ही पता चलेगा कि कैसे ये जो गुजर रहा है ये कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करें?
बिफोर आई मूव ऑन टू दैट, मुझे ये एक 2-3 चीजें मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा। ब्यूटिफुली पुट अप दैट स्मार्ट थिंग, आई विल आल्सो पुट इट इन माय क्लिनिक। थैंक यू डॉक्टर गुडबोले। ना 2-3 चीजें मुझे लगती है जो हम काफी बार देखते हैं कि जहाँ पे स्लीप एंड ऑल, बट जहाँ पेरेंट्स को पता चलता है कि इट्स स्टेजेस, यू नो, पहले तो हमारे पेरेंट्स, एज अ पेरेंट हम डिनाइल में जाते हैं कि ये मेरे साथ नहीं हो सकता है। उसके बाद एक सडन जो फीलिंग आती है कि बिल्कुल कंप्लीट कैटास्ट्रोफिक मोड में कि अभी ऑटिज्म हो गया तो क्या होगा, एज इट दैट इज द एंड ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। देन बिकॉज एज अ ह्यूमन हमारा टेंडेंसी होता है कोपिंग अप, सो देन वी गो इनटू द कोपिंग अप मोड कि भाई अभी ये यू नो डैमेज कंट्रोल मोड। सो डैमेज कंट्रोल मोड में जब हम जाते हैं तो हम फिर उसके बाद वी स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन अ चाइल्ड। आई एम श्योर मोस्ट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स यहाँ एग्री कर रहे होंगे कि हम पहले तो हमें लगता है नहीं हम डायग्नोज कर रहे हैं ये ऑटिज्म हो सकता है, ये कोई तो प्रॉब्लम है, हाइपर एक्टिविटी की प्रॉब्लम है हमारे बच्चे के साथ में, बट लेट्स होप कि डॉक्टर नहीं बोले। बट द मोमेंट द डॉक्टर गिव्स कंफर्म्स द डायग्नोसिस, देन वी गो इनटू दैट मोड कि बिल्कुल ये क्या हो गया हमारे साथ में। थर्ड स्टेप कम्स व्हेन वी स्टार्ट एक्सेप्टिंग एंड स्टार्ट वर्किंग आउट। बट ये बर्नआउट का सिचुएशन वहां पे आता है जब हमें क्विक रिजल्ट्स नहीं दिख रहे होते हैं, बिकॉज हमारे जो रिजल्ट्स तक, बिकॉज अभी हमने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, अभी वी आर वर्किंग ऑन इट, बट एज अ पेरेंट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत लॉन्ग टर्म है और इनके छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स, छोटे छोटे इंक्रीमेंटल पॉजिटिव स्टेप्स या चेंजेस हमें बच्चे में दिखते हैं। As a parent, the moment we start picking that up, we start getting better. Or otherwise, the parents may have feelings of suddenly helplessness, hopelessness. The signs, the typical signs of depression होते हैं, वो भी होते हैं. And another thing is emotional, lability. कि पेरेंट्स को अगर लगे ना कि छोटी छोटी बातों में बहुत ज्यादा गुस्सा आ रहा है या छोटी छोटी बातों पे रोना आ रहा है, दिस इज समथिंग विच आई फील काफी होता है मेरी क्लिनिक में भी सामने, जहाँ पे पेरेंट्स आके बैठते हैं एंड छोटी सी बात में विदाउट समथिंग, वन थिंग तो पेरेंट को समझ आती है अगर मैं बहुत इमोशनल हो रही हूँ तो दिस इज नॉट माई नेचर, बट यहाँ पे ये गड़बड़ हो रही है. एंड सेकेंड थिंग इज इट स्टार्ट्स अफेक्टिंग योर फैमिली एंड योर वर्क ऑल्सो.
ओके,
वो सर ने ऑलरेडी बोला कि वो आपका कॉन्फिडेंस हर एरिया में जा रहा है, बट इंटरपर्सनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स में जाना शुरू हो जाएगा. एंड दूसरा आपका वर्क प्लेस, वहां पे चीजें डेफिनेटली.
So thank you, ma'am. So you were saying about really good points how parents can identify their emotional burnout.
तो इसको हम बोलते हैं कि एक पेंडुलम जैसा रहता है. एक जगह पे हम डिनाइल में जाते हैं और दूसरी जगह पे हम डिप्रेशन में जाते हैं. तो ये डिनाइल डिप्रेशन में बीच में एक बड़ा सा वर्ड रहता है टुडे, आज का दिन रहता है, ये हम भूल जाते हैं. तो लेट्स टेक फर्स्ट मैसेज फ्रॉम मैडम्स पॉइंट दैट हमें डिनाइल भी नहीं होना है और हमें डिप्रेशन भी नहीं रहना है, हमें आज के दिन में लिव करना है. एंड दैट इज वंडरफुल. हाँ, ऐसा माना जाता है कि वन ऑफ द टिप आई विल स्टार्ट वर्किंग ओवर हियर इज, हमें कभी कल भूतकाल में क्या हो रहा है, मेरे ऑटिज्म का कारण क्या है, तो ये कारण ढूंढते ढूंढते तक अपने हस्बैंड वाइफ अपनी शादी तक पहुंचते हैं, इसका कुछ फायदा नहीं है. तो डोंट गो इनटू द पास्ट टेंस एंड नाइदर द अदर साइड, मेरे बच्चे का मेरे बाद क्या होगा, फ्यूचर टेंस. ये दोनों के आंसर्स भगवान ने हमें बताए नहीं है और उससे फायदा नहीं है. तो व्हाई डोंट यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग इन टुडे, आपका बर्नआउट का चांस कम हो जाएगा. आई थिंक विद दैट टिप लेट्स गो बैक टू मैडम.
So ma'am, would you like to add some more points for the especially tools to identify parental burnout?
Right. So see, there are a lot of tools available which will tell the parents to figure out what are their symptoms. But one thing what I would like to say is कि parents, see, we use the word depression very often. We use the word anxiety very often. Anxiety और stress को हम अभी synonymously use करते हैं सब जगह कि हमें बहुत एंजाइटी है, हमें बहुत स्ट्रेस है. आई हैव चिल्ड्रन कमिंग अप एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट इट. हमें ये समझना है कि इज इट मेकिंग मी डिसफंक्शनल. सी, कोई भी बिहेवियर है एज एन अडल्ट, हमें ये समझना है कि सम अमाउंट ऑफ स्ट्रेस, सम अमाउंट ऑफ फीलिंग ऑफ होपलेसनेस, कभी अच्छा लगता है, कभी कुछ पॉजिटिव लगता है, कभी कुछ नेगेटिव लगता है. सी, दोज आर द थिंग्स विच विल कीप हैपनिंग इन टू डे लाइफ. बट इन द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग कंप्लीटली कि आपको अगर लगने लगे कि मैं बिल्कुल भी सिचुएशन मैनेज नहीं कर पा रही हूँ या कर पा रहा हूँ, उस समय मुझे हमेशा ये लगता है कि मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज को हम बहुत लाइटली लेते हैं.
एब्सोल्युटली.
अगर हमारे को आज एक जनरल हेल्थ चेकअप में हम जाते हैं और हमारा शुगर, उस दिन मैंने अपना चेक कराया 174 रैंडम शुगर आया. आई एम बीन प्री डायबिटिक फॉर अ व्हाइल. सो बट हम इमीडिएटली उसके ऊपर ध्यान देते हैं.
हाँ,
आप डॉक्टर को मिलेंगे, डॉक्टर आपको HbA1c बोलेगा, 3 months का करा के देखो आपका एवरेज शुगर क्या आ रहा है. सो डोंट गेट वरीड. बट couldn't understand.
Saying use English alone.
Speak only in English. Somebody.
Yeah.
Once we start speaking in English, okay.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Last time it was other way around. Last time we were asked about Hindi, so
English all the time. So somebody told me कि आप हिंदी में बात करो.
Yeah.
So I'll use English. I think anybody can understand the kind of language we are using.
Yeah.
But I will add more English words. See, the important what I'm trying to say is that mental health issues को ignore नहीं करना है as a parent. The moment you start feeling कि your mood swings are going beyond a certain point, you are not able to calm yourself down. Your level of anxiety is going very high. अगर आपको लग रहा है, you have feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, you are not able to sleep, your diet is getting affected. The moment you feel all of that, please consult a psychiatrist. I think self-diagnosis, there are a lot of checklists available. All the, depression inventories and anxiety tools are available online. But I would suggest that you should meet, a doctor, a psychiatrist, at least talk to somebody, at least talk to your medical, your general practitioners. Don't have to rush to a psychiatrist immediately. वो at least आपको बता सकते हैं कि you actually have symptoms or you don't have symptoms.
True.
And depending on the severity, आप counseling करवा सकते हैं या आप उसके ऊपर काम कर सकते हैं. Yeah.
And this time very important, as madam has said, you have to meet somebody. And I am getting burnout, I am getting depressed, I am getting hopelessness. Is nothing wrong. Everybody goes through it, but am I able to manage it? That is important. And I tell you very simple opposite way of looking at it. अपना laptop खराब हो गया, you land up in some TV is not working. Don't you immediately call the network guy? You definitely call him. एक 50,000, 60,000 rupees के machine you are immediately consulting. अपना तो crores and I don't know what is the cost of our own life. Don't you think that it is right thing to consult for your own repair?
Yeah.
It's a repair. So you have to repair your own body or your mind. So don't hesitate in consulting. I think I'm going to now go one by one, counting the number of points we should take home. The first point, live in today's day. Second point, as madam has rightly said, consult a person at the right time and don't self-diagnose yourself. Self-diagnosis is the risk that you may either take that it is a big problem or you take that it is not a problem. It is good idea that to talk to a mechanic. So apne body ka mechanic, talk to your body's mechanic, and the best body's mechanic is your own general practitioner. You should, and then he or she may suggest you to go ahead with that. I think with that point, let's move ahead again.
Yeah. So now we are going ahead with we till this point came to know about what is parental burnout, tools to diagnose it, science bhi ho gaye. So abhi techniques to manage the parental burnout. So madam, can you just put the light on this point?
Especially how to manage when you are gone into the trouble. So what I am expecting that you are feeling so dull, you are feeling anxious, you are feeling depressed. All those signs are there. And till that now you are meeting as the best counselor to Thadani madam. Let's see what Thadani madam will say right for the today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suneel Godbole, for the kind words, always. And now, see, the couple of things what is very important is, as a parent, what effects, see, you have to, there are certain positive pointers, जो हम बोल सकते हैं, जो positive attitude की तरफ they will take the parents. That is one thing. So, I will discuss that and then I will talk a little about the cognitive approach.
Yeah.
So both the things become a little clear and both of you all could add whenever you all feel like. So, and then there could be parents who could tell us कि उन्होंने कैसे cope up किया. Yeah. What helped them. So which I'm sure, others would also take it as a part. So it's like a parental group kind of thing. So positive attitude, see one thing जो parents को, since हम Autism Awareness Week में है, so we're going to talk more of autism. And now, it is very important for parents to understand that autism is not a disease. It is, your child is wired differently. He understands the world differently and he perceives the external stimulus differently. Hence, he responds in a different manner. ये I think any parent would have probably understood by now. जो parents हैं उनको ये इतना समझ में ये चीज बहुत clear होनी चाहिए. So one thing is, it is not a disease, so it doesn't have a cure. So it is not an infection which is gotten into my child, so I can get it out somehow. So once you understand that your child is different, he understands different and hence he responds different, we have to only get him as close to normal so that he can function himself in the world in the best possible manner. This should be a basic criteria for managing autism as a parent, right? That is extremely important. The moment we understand that, we are okay. And again, for parents, it is very important कि आपको खुद एक balanced approach रखना चाहिए towards your life.
Yeah.
Some parents burnout कहाँ पे होता है when your child takes away your entire focus, which is like 80%, 90%, and then if you don't see the improvement, you suddenly feel very burnt out and very depressed and very anxious. So, as how we are. Our workplace is important, our children are important, our spouse is important, our relatives are important, our own health is important, right? So ये हमारी life के different aspects होते हैं. That balance has to be seen by you all also.
Yes.
And since you know that you have a high chance of having a burnout, that's why we are discussing it. You have to definitely focus a lot on your own physical and mental health. You have to consciously do something which relaxes you. I call it time out. I call it me time. I call it your personal time.
Yes.
You know, whatever helps you. See, that is different for every parent. हर इंसान के लिए अलग है. So you whatever helps you, you have to do that. So for some people it's listening to music. For some people it's singing. I've really motivated parents to go in for classical singing classes. You know, I have motivated one mother to go in and start learning violin at the age of 40 plus.
Oh, great.
So what has happened is the moment, see, yoga, meditation, see, you have to find your own space or what is your relaxation point.
Yeah.
I had a mother who got into baking full time. And eventually the good part was that she would come and get me a cake every time she visited me.
Yeah.
That kind of help. She had a special child with Down syndrome. So that's a separate thing. Now, so this is one thing which is extremely important. Another thing for general management is look for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help from relatives, from friends, from other siblings. It is important. It is okay to tell them you are feeling low, you are feeling burned down. हमें कुछ medal नहीं मिलने वाला है at the end of the day.
Yes.
हमें उतना ही करना है जितना we can manage comfortably.
Yeah.
So that is very important. I had this one mother who came and told me, but she said, I'm in a joint family. And I said, but your mother-in-law takes over ना जब आपको तकलीफ ज़्यादा होती है. She said, yeah. She says, ये 2 घंटे अभी तुम जाओ. So she gets the 2 hours break.
Me time.
Me time because she's in a joint family. So and because she's asking for help from her mother-in-law.
That's very important. Huh?
She's asking for help. She's not saying कि मैं ही सब करूँगी. You know, she's asking for help, and I also encourage parents to look out for support. You know, if you have supporting family, you should look out for support. That really helps because then it's a joint responsibility and the joint.
Yeah.
So these are the Dr. Suneel Godbole, you want to add something?
Let's take the take-home messages from Madam. The first thing is that me time.
Yeah.
I like to. I just read a very interesting sentence, and that sentence was: "Have a date with yourself."
Yeah.
So go for a cup of coffee. Akele jao. Don't require that you need your spouse to be with you. Have a date with yourself. Enjoy that evening, enjoy that afternoon, enjoy that half an hour. That date with yourself will again, it is a rebound. It's a coping strategy. The body will come out of it. And so these simple things that giving time to yourself, you are going to come out of those things very beautifully. That's one thing. Madam has said another 4th point of what Madam is taking today is please ask for help. Probably you may not be asking for your help in the relatives. Sometimes, especially in our Maharashtrian communities, what I observe commonly is अपने relatives अपने को ज़्यादा मदद नहीं करते. Relatives may not help us, but our friends do help us.
Yeah.
But do ask for that help. And that is very important. And keep all those relatives, friends, ask your spouse to help you.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing tantrum at your spouse, as a father now I'm talking about, instead of tantrum to your spouse, ask him, I'm frustrated, I'm not able to manage myself. Let me know what I can do. I'm very sure that will add, not only it will help you to come out of your own problem, but it will add a very good connection between both of you. So that connection will be set because just of asking for this. Yeah. Now with that, I'm going to teach all of you a technique before that. But before that, there was a hand raised by Mr. Rakesh Kumar. Is it okay that you can tell us what you were...
There's also some Mr. Amol who has done a hand raise.
So Rakesh Kumar has raised his hand first time, and then there is some other questions. So you're all welcome to...
You can put in the chat box your question or any point that you want to mention. Okay.
As I think till the time you post your problem, I like to give a technique for that. The technique is Kachua Bano. It's called as a turtle technique. So what is a turtle technique? The turtle technique is now you are frustrated. There is a mother who told that I wanted to kill my child. She was that much frustrated. and nothing wrong in it. That feeling is nothing desire. It is okay. It may land up in a problem, but let's manage how those things. If you are feeling that you are angry, I'm गुस्सा है मुझे, okay, तो फिर turtle क्या करेगा? What a turtle will do, if somebody attacks a turtle, the turtle goes into the shell. He withdraws his head, he withdraws his legs, and he goes under the shell, and it just remains quiet. He says, stop, मैं कुछ नहीं करने, I don't want you to do anything. And that's the first time if you feel that much frustrated, angry, पहले shell में जाओ. And shell माने actually you have to go in a quiet corner. Stop, don't do anything. फिर shell में जाके क्या करने का है? That is the second point to do. Start taking deep breaths. So what you'll be doing? Take a deep breath. I usually tell the technique of 4:8. 4 counts in and 6 to 8 counts out, and start looking at your own breath. And luckily breath is not yet charged. उसको पेट्रोल जैसे हाइक नहीं हो रही है. So start taking good breath. Take 3 breaths. So you are like a turtle. You are in the shell. So imagine that nobody is looking at you, not even your child. You are in your own shell and you are taking these 3 breaths. And by taking 3 breaths, after doing that, now socho, then that's the time you should start thinking, okay, now I'm calm. Now what I should be doing? And then understand, okay, killing my child or giving him a bash is not going to be my answer. I need to think something differently. Till the time you don't go into that stop strategy and going into your own shell, your brain is not going to give you the direction of what to do next. Because by going into the shell, your emotional brain is getting covered by your rational brain, and your sochne wala आता माझी सटकली brain starts thinking. And now when that starts thinking, that is the time. Let's come out of the shell, look here and there, and start. Okay, now I'm start calm, and I'll start finding solution, asking help. So this is a turtle technique. Four steps. First, understand that you are angry. Somebody is hitting me. Go into the shell. Take few breaths. Understand that you are now calm, and then come out to find a solution. I'm very sure that especially the point where there is a tussle between you and your child, tussle between you and your father, anybody, and you'll be able to manage. So I think that's the one thing I wanted to just go over here. I think we'll go ahead.
Anjana ma'am, would you like to add any other point in this?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little about the cognitive methodology.
Yeah.
So thoda sa it kind of helps the parents, you know. So,
Yeah.
so it's
Sure.
more like a psychoeducation. Thoda sa 4-5 points I want to add,
Yeah.
and then we can move on. So see, first thing, whenever we are into some kind of distress, okay. So whenever we are in some kind of distress, we always tend to get negative consequences. अगर हम गुस्से में कुछ भी करते हैं, we tend to say things जो हमें बाद में regret होता है. We don't like saying bad things to people, but sometimes we can't help it because we were extremely angry, extremely agitated, extremely hurt at a point of time, right? So whenever we are looking at, so what drives our actions and what drives our emotions, that is something which we need to understand as an individual. And this is something पेरेंट आप ऑटिस्टिक बच्चे के पेरेंट है कि नहीं है, आपके ये सब जगह काम आने वाला टेक्निक है. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ हेल्प्स. सो एक ये सिंपल एबीसी मेथड होता है वेयर ए बिकम्स योर एंटीसीडेंट, जहाँ पे उसको हम ट्रिगर भी बोलते हैं इन कॉमन उसमें, कि कोई चीज हमें ट्रिगर कर रही है. जैसे आपके बच्चे ने एक टैंट्रम थ्रो किया है, अ बैड बिहेवियर इन फ्रंट ऑफ रिलेटिव्स हु हैव कम, और समवेयर यू आर ट्राइंग टू टीच हिम समथिंग, यू आर ट्राइंग टू गेट समथिंग आउट ऑफ हिम, और वो बिल्कुल भी करने को तैयार नहीं है. सो दैट सिचुएशन बिकम्स योर ट्रिगर. सी, बच्चा ऑटिस्टिक है वो हमें मालूम है, एंड देयर इज नथिंग वी कैन डू अबाउट इट, बट व्हाट इज द ट्रिगर यूजुअली इज समथिंग दैट हैपेंस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. वो हमारा ट्रिगर बन जाता है, और वो ट्रिगर से हमारा सर्टेन बी इज यूजुअली अ बिहेवियर. अगर बिहेवियर नेगेटिव होता है तो ना वो बच्चे के लिए हेल्प होता है, ना वो पेरेंट के लिए हेल्प. So that is something which we have to understand. अगर बच्चे ने बैड बिहेवियर किया है, जो आपका ट्रिगर तो है, और आपने उसके रिस्पॉन्स में बच्चे को या तो किसी तरह से पनिश किया, और यू स्लैप द चाइल्ड, और यू होल्ड हिम, रिस्ट्रेन हिम, और यू नो व्हाटएवर, उससे क्या होता है, द चाइल्ड डजंट कंटिन्यू, चाइल्ड लर्न्स द बिहेवियर बिकम्स वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, बिकॉज आपने उस बिहेवियर को एक्सेसिव अटेंशन दिया. राइट? सो नेगेटिव रीइंफोर्समेंट से वो बिहेवियर खराब हो जाता है, एंड आप उसके बाद इतना गिल्ट फील करते हैं बिकॉज यू नो कि योर चाइल्ड इज नॉट एट फॉल्ट, ही थिंक्स डिफरेंटली, ही बिहेव्स डिफरेंटली, उसको वो सेंसिटिविटीज है, वो सेंसिटिव बिहेवियर है विच आपको मालूम है, फिर भी आपको हमेशा एक गिल्ट आता है कि मैं खुद कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाई, आई शुड हैव बीन इन बेटर कंट्रोल, आई शुड हैव डन बेटर. So because of that, so it's not neither helping you, neither helping the child. किसी को भी हेल्प नहीं हो रही है अगर आप नेगेटिव बिहेवियर करते हो. तो नेचुरली कॉन्सिक्वेंस, यू मे नॉट वांट टू टॉक टू द चाइल्ड. जो हमने सिखाने बैठे थे वो तो हुआ ही नहीं. सो दैट्स ऑल डन एनी विच वे. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड आवर बिहेवियर एंड चेंज दैट बिहेवियर. वो बिहेवियर कहाँ पे चेंज होता है? अगर हम फर्स्ट स्टेप इज टू कंट्रोल आवर इमोशंस. तो जब भी हमें पता चलने लगे कि वी आर हैविंग अ बिल्डअप, अब मुझे गुस्सा चढ़ने लग गया है, या अब मुझे इरिटेबिलिटी हो रही है, या मुझे अभी बुरा लग रहा है, या यू नो आई एम फीलिंग लो, इंस्टेड ऑफ यू नो continuing that same behavior or continuing the same emotion, you can move out of that.
Okay.
आप उधर से अगर स्नैप आउट हो जाते हैं तो आपका वो जो नेगेटिव बिहेवियर है, तो नेगेटिव इमोशन है, वो कंट्रोल हो जाता है. द मोमेंट आपका नेगेटिव इमोशन कंट्रोल होता है, वहां पे आपका एक्शंस विल नॉट बी दैट नेगेटिव बिकॉज आप ऑलरेडी अवेयर हो गए हैं. यू प्रॉब्ली मूव्ड आउट ऑफ दैट सिचुएशन. बच्चा चिल्ला रही, स्क्रीमिंग बिहेवियर बहुत कॉमन है ऑटिस्टिक बच्चों में. स्क्रीमिंग चालू है एंड यू नो दैट आई एम रीचिंग माई पॉइंट, यू नो माई टिपिंग पॉइंट. वहां पहुंचने से पहले ही अगर आप वो सिचुएशन में निकल जाते हैं, कोई घर में है, कोई अदर सिबलिंग है, आप उसको 5 मिनट देखो, आई जस्ट टेक अ वॉक एंड कम बैक, you know, so your build up, you immediately bring it down. So naturally your action is not going to be hitting or taking something drastic, जो कि बाद में आपको बहुत guilt और disappointed feel कराएगा. So you are able to control your emotion. You are controlled, and usually emotion ये होता है because you feel this feeling of helplessness. आपके thought आते हैं अभी मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकती हूँ. You feel very helpless, trapped, or you always feel this is my fault. मेरी पेरेंटिंग में गड़बड़ होगी, या मैं एज अ थेरेपिस्ट बहुत ज्यादा नहीं कर पा रही हूँ. हमारे थेरेपिस्ट तो थेरेपी सेंटर में बताते हैं मदर्स कैन डू दिस, मदर्स कैन डू दैट, बट आई एम नॉट बीइंग अ गुड थेरेपी मदर. यू नो,
कॉमन, वेरी कॉमन,
वेरी कॉमन. ये भी पेरेंट्स को काफी बार लगता है कि इतना बताया था, आई एम डूइंग ऑल ऑफ दिस, इट इज नॉट रिजल्टिंग, देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग विद मी.
Yes.
So again, the moment you have these kind of feelings of inadequacy, you know, helplessness, so these are not helpful thoughts. You have to look at the positive. Even if I'm not able to succeed in one session, या मैंने एक बार बच्चे से कुछ नहीं कराया, that doesn't make me a bad mother. Sorry. That doesn't make me somebody as a bad human being. If I have a child with autism, doesn't make me somebody bad or I deserve something bad. So एक को confidence, ये thought process थोड़ा सा change होता है, तो you are able to control your emotions much better.
On this point, यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा मैडम, जस्ट वन कंसेप्ट फॉर दिस, दैट आई कॉल इट एज अ वाइट बॉल. सो this particular moment, this particular emotion which I am unable to manage, I am getting frustrated, I am not a good mom, ये white ball है, छोड़ो. Then the another next ball is coming to you. एक बॉल छोड़ने से लाइफ चलाने जाने वाला. So you have to forget that particular moment. ये इमोशन को, as madam has said, diffuse that emotion and then go. I think that is another point we are going to take home with all this dialogue. Madam, we'll continue with what you're telling.
One thing I want to add कि काफी बार as a parent, see, हमारे लिए ये easy होता है because we have learned the ability to step back of the situation.
Yes.
इसको हम काउंसलिंग में या तो bird's eye view या तो worm's eye view बोलते हैं. So bird's eye view, I always tell the parents कि कभी भी जब बहुत ज्यादा commotion हो रहा है, mentally step 2 steps behind.
Yeah.
And see it as a very objective approach. कि भाई ये क्या हो रहा है? What can I do? So the moment you step out of that situation, it is difficult. It takes time to learn. और काफी बार अगर आप खुद से ये सब नहीं कर पा रहे हो, तो what you can do is you can definitely take help of some counselor who's trained. So 5-6 सेशन में ये मैनेजमेंट काफी अच्छे से आ जाता है, और ये एक लाइफ स्किल है.
Absolutely.
It is like a life skill जो आप हर situation में वापर सकते हैं. It's not that you are not using it, you're using it in only parenting. You can use it in all situations.
Anytime, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So now we are getting all these things together. So yes, first thing now we have learned is yes, we should be able to recognize our emotions, part 1. After that, you should be able to recognize what you have to look for other side. Okay, today I am not getting further. So in last 2 months, what I have done, and then you understand. Oh, I achieved these many things, and that is what is important. And that's another technique to that is something is called as wall of fame. This wall of fame, you have to make a board in your bedroom wherever it is comfortable, and start whenever you achieve a single success. Write down that my child was unable to remove pants while going to the washroom, and now he is doing it. Date 8th of April 2022. Yes, keep it down, written down. After 2 months, when you get frustrated with some other problem, you said, "Oh, I had done this."
Yes.
So go back to your own wall of fame. That bird's eye view is very important. This which is now I start adding over this is probably the risk factors. So what are the risk factors? If you are able to know कहाँ पे गड़बड़ होने वाली है, what are the risks? So एक risk अपने में उल्टा देखने का है, going back into your own self. Typically a perfectionist person lands up into this problem. And most of the time I've seen that children with autism are gifted to the perfectionist parent.
Yeah.
Because the parents are very much perfect in their own lifestyle, and the child doesn't want to be that perfect. He is अपना हर मौला मजा मौला करना रहता है, and the parent doesn't like that. उनके discipline के frame नहीं होता, so that is a risk to you. So थोड़ी सी आपकी perfection की frame को lose करो. Just loosen up your perfection frame, and you'll be able to better manage yourself. Second thing is there are typical people who tendency to have a low confidence. If you ask their parent, their sibling, they'll tell that this particular mother, she has a tendency to have a low confidence. So that means you need to work upon your own confidence. There are no areas where there are typical. When I ask the parents, so I ask them the structure of their family, and with the parent tell that हम दोनों अकेले रहते हैं and we are both working. That means these parents are having a risk of lack of support.
Yeah.
So that means these are the parents who are at a greater risk of landing into burnout. So answer lies into knowing the risk. So we are only on our own. So that means we need to develop our network of, and that comes answer to you automatically. So we should be, while managing these kids, I'll ask you, know your own risks. So when the child is having, especially when there is a single child with autism 3-4 years, and typically there is a 2 months, 3 months second sibling in the mother's lap. High chance, another risk. That child, the baby needs its own way. So baby is driving the mother crazy. And from this child autism, the child expects his mother alone. That's a risk factor to land up in burnout. So know these risk factors for yourself. And do you want to add something, or we'll just go ahead? Yeah.
Otherwise, now my next question to Anjana ma'am will be, Madam, what are the points by which parental burnout can be prevented?
Yeah, that's I think a very important question. But I think whatever we've discussed till now, parents could probably give us some feedback. In fact, initially ज़्यादा feedback था. अभी all parents have.
अभी थोड़े parents सुस्त हो गए. They are gone into the turtle. So I like parents also to have their own opinions. Will be really appreciating if you want to ask some questions or tell your story of winning over your burnout. I like that most. How you succeeded when you are frustrated.
Yeah.
But one important thing for prevention would be what I said earlier also was that you can pick up the early signs of burnout. You know, the moment हमने signs and symptoms काफी detail में discuss किए. The moment you have any of these, please understand it's a real phenomena and every parent goes through it. So there's nothing wrong in saying. At least the good part is that, we are ready to accept if we are not struggling with something. जो पहले के generation में उतना नहीं है acceptability, I would say. We understand our limitation as a parent, as a human being, as a person. So the moment you start feeling any signs, so early, जितना early pick up करेंगे, जितना early आप उसके ऊपर काम करेंगे, उतना early the chances that it's all going to progress to a certain level. You know, I'm telling you, I had a parent who literally told me that I'm suicidal. You know, इतना उसको stress था, इतना anxiety था because of she had some issues. The child was in a regular school and not diagnosed mild autistic, and there were a lot of issues. And the parental group, because the child was hitting other children and, sensory issues and all were there. So, and nobody was able to diagnose initially. That was, I'm talking, of course, some time back. So the mother, itne zyada negative comments the in the group regarding her child that the mother was literally, she told me sitting in my clinic कि ma'am, I feel so suicidal at times. खाली ये बच्चे को देख के मैं रुक जाती हूँ कि मेरे बाद इसका क्या होगा, that way. So I told her the first thing you do is please leave that parent group.
सही बात है.
So I made her leave it in my clinic itself. I said that's your biggest stressor. The child otherwise doing okay with the clinic. Because he was already coming and they were following up, but school mein nahi bataya tha and the formal diagnosis was not done. So, and school mein anyways, even if you have it, you're not going to go and proclaim it in the group, right? So because of that, so I said, first thing you leave. So you all have to identify your stressors first.
Yeah.
What is your stressor? So stressor, early sound, identifying the stressor, finding out the early sound signs could help greatly, And as sir already said, the me time is extremely important.
Absolutely.
And that is important for everybody, I think. It's not only parents with autistic children.
Yeah. Suneel, would you like
I think we are at the end of we are just a few minutes remaining for us. Yes, I'm happy to get a question. We just let the child whatever he wants to play, messing or playing in spreading all toys or just sit calm. It helps me to some extent, especially when I know that she's from not in she's Cairo, she's from Egypt. She's connecting. Thank you for managing the time management also. So. Okay, so leaving the child on its own for a time being, अच्छा होता है. I always go back to the surf ad. कभी-कभी दाग अच्छे होते हैं. So leaving the things at its own till the time it is not damaging his or your own framework is a wonderful way. So छोड़ देना is a good idea. I'm very happy with this concept. But make it a point that this doesn't happen again and again. So the other way to do what Malini madam is saying that थोड़ा break ले लो. Have a short break. So that giving a short break for yourself and till the time the child is safe, allowing the child to do whatever the child wants is a wonderful way. So Malini, we are taking your strategy for all other parents also. Chota sa break lena acha hota hai. Don't worry about it. Ranjit is saying another thing. To manage this thing, we are looking towards what our child is doing rather than what you're absolutely right. So looking at the positive side. I think today is the best message I'll say is what Ranjit is coming on. Start looking at the positive side. And this, I think, last meeting or last, I don't remember, I discussed with some of the parents, and it's a wonderful way to understand that, especially it's a philosophy in it, the human beings are trying to get a lot of things for what? To get that peace. Everybody thinks of becoming Santan Naneshwar sometime or other. I want that inner space. मुझे अंदर से आज सुकून मिलना चाहिए. I should be happy among yourself. But have you noticed? Your baby is born with that. The best positive part with our children with autism, they are the happiest children on the earth. Remember that. And instead of getting them into our framework, थोड़ा सा उनसे happiness borrow करो. And borrow करने से happiness कम नहीं होता, it increases. So you borrow the happiness. So Ranjit, you are telling me very important thing is start looking at the positive sides of everything. We'll get the answer. I think.
Sir, in between there is one question to Anjana ma'am. That they are asked, just the question is like that, who is actually a right person that will diagnose a child with autism, because there is a story in which that child was diagnosed as autistic and the child was 3.5 years and he was diagnosed as autistic by occupational therapist, and then the father had depression and stroke, and this is really a sad story. So they just wanted to confirm who is the right person for diagnosis.
I feel, see, what happens normally, this happens in the case where there is not a proper diagnosis and based on symptoms, the child straight away goes for therapy.
Yeah.
That is what probably would have happened. Now, having certain autistic features and having autism, being on the spectrum, as I said earlier also, they're two little different things. The autistic features could be secondary to so many conditions also. So many other medical conditions also, autistic features kuch ho sakte hain. So definitely it is either a pediatrician, a developmental pediatrician or a pediatric neurologist. I would, at least the basic diagnosis has to be with one of these. आज वो accessibility का issue भी नहीं है because of the acceptance of online, however, I mean, we can't be ever 100% sure if we haven't seen the children, though we are usually supported by a lot of videos and all of that. एक बार देखना definitely is helpful, but it would be nicer if you could, meet a doctor, a pediatrician, a developmental pediatrician, or a pediatric neurologist for the diagnosis.
I'll add one point to that. It probably, the diagnosis may or may not be wrong. The way this diagnosis was taken by the parents and delivered to the parent, probably that condition went wrong. The diagnosis, that label which we need to really cut, was not taken parent, and unfortunately there must be a background that the parent has read unfortunately a lot from Mr. Google and Google Doctor, which doesn't say any good thing about autism, and that time the father must be really gone into, he was actually burnt out, he was actually frustrated, and he was unable to cope up with that diagnosis. So what should be doing? Anybody who is good at it, first thing I request people, parents of when we go for a diagnosis, we just don't go by one sitting or one quick failure. Those parents who are over here, they know that we need time to diagnose it. We need multiple ways of assessment. And over and above that, the first sentence that should be coming to the parents and to the doctors is, it's a dynamic condition.
Yeah.
We can work over it. There are lots of ifs and ors to that. And all this discussion, so we call it is a Madam has told me this word, diagnostics debriefing. So this diagnosis debriefing is very important. It should be given a lot of time for that. And probably ye nahi ho saka. Those questions, when the diagnosis was jumping in front of the father's eyes, he had lots of questions in his mind which he was unable to process. He was unable to get answers for that, and then unfortunately he landed up into that. So the answer for that is, okay, the person who is aware of autism, who has seen the autism, as Madam has seen, the doctors, especially the doctors, we are proud about that we are told about this debriefing, that when you are giving a diagnosis, know about it, whether it is a cancer, whether it is a heart disease, whether it is autism, we are told to discuss the pros and cons and the management principles, and then giving time to the parent. I think that is the answer. But it is but Mohammed Bhai, you asked a very important question, probably not for today's positive web discussion. This we are unfortunately going to negative side. But there is another thing.
They are saying many times parents burnout makes the situation more critical.
Absolutely.
And that is the today's aim of the session. That if the parents come to know from these two experts, the parental burnout, they have come to know the science, the tools, and how to manage. So if they manage themselves, the child will be managed better.
Absolutely. So there's another thing which I learned sometime or other. Imagine that the child is playing on a platform, and that platform is in a deep sea, and that platform is being held by the parents. अगर पेरेंट ने प्लेटफॉर्म छोड़ दिया तो प्लेटफॉर्म हिलने लगता है, how the child is going to get stable. So the parents are that platform on which the child is trying to manage himself. So Jawahar, I don't have able to remember the name. Many times if that parent absolutely so, you have to come out of it. So ideas for that. Another idea to is, if you are unable to it, shift the burden to somebody else for the time being. Get out of it, so that the child gets assurance that I am being managed myself. And Ranjit has given the thing which we doctors always tell, that भैया Dr. Google को इस्तेमाल करो कुछ चीजें खरीदने के लिए. If you have to really go on Google, buy ice cream for yourself. That will keep your mood better, but not go for any. I know.
One thing I want to add here is that we, as parents, you have to understand कि Google search में क्या पहले आता है, जो सबसे ज़्यादा viewed होता है, So there is a process how it works, right? So what will be viewed more? Something which is more sensational, something which is more severe, something which has a very dramatic, part to it. Yeah. So that is what comes again and again. So when you are Googling, you would get all those severe cases. Even when you're seeing videos, you'll see all the severe cases. While thankfully, we do see a lot of mild cases, mild to moderate cases, and we do see them going down on the scale with therapy.
Absolutely.
And to the extent of they even going less than 30 score on a cards, which
That's
again
okay.
I want to say does not mean कि autism निकल गया है. That just means कि हमारे symptoms बहुत अच्छे manage हो रहे हैं with whatever we are doing.
Yeah.
हम behavior modification कर रहे हैं, हम उनको therapies कर रहे हैं, our therapist is very good, we are working on so many things. That means हमारा management बहुत अच्छा है. That is not for diagnosis, because sometimes I have had parents जिन्होंने आके हमारा पहले स्कोर 36 था मैम, अभी हमारा 29 स्कोर हो गया है, अभी तो ऑटिज्म निकल गया. It doesn't happen like that. That is just a criteria to tell you कि अभी बच्चे के symptoms कितने अच्छे हैं या कितने खराब हैं. That is what
I'll just add one more to what madam is saying. How to look at this autism? Look at it like a diabetes. There are many people who are living in this beautiful world with diabetes. Either they may be doing on exercise and diet or medicines or insulin, but are they not living and enjoying their life? Especially those people who are having diabetes and enjoying their life, what they learn to be friend with the disease and not fighting with the disease. यही अपने बच्चे के ऑटिज्म के साथ करो, उसको फ्रेंड मान के चलो, you'll find very positively. And just you remember another point to add at the end, probably from my side, Ashwini will summarize because the time is now ending up, but I will say कि you are going to work on your child's name, your child's identity, and not on a child with such a label. So label ko throw karo, and it is very natural to get frustrated. It is very natural to get burnout. There is nothing wrong in it. Don't blame yourself for getting that. It is okay that after within 7-6 days, एक दिन therapy नहीं हुई. It's okay that the child doesn't show any improvement. It is known that autism is a regression. You have done a wonderful job. लेकिन एक दिन the child again throws a tantrum. It's very natural. So don't look at it in that way. छोड़ना सीखो. Start enjoying yourself. खुद को टाइम देना सीखो. I think that's what I will end upon. Thank you all for listening. नहीं तो आप हमारे बड़बड़ से burnout हो जाएंगे. So we'll stop for the day, and we'll be meeting again the second Friday probably in the next month. We'll be keeping you updated with the next topic. Till that time, Ashwini.
So quickly to summarize today's session. So Anjana ma'am and sir has told all the parents that first thing is parental burnout is real. It is normal. Accept it. Don't feel guilty. Find out the triggers, and the other thing is stressors which are causing this. Wonderfully, ma'am has given cognitive approach to put yourself little bit back from whatever child's performance is there. Then one more thing, yourself is a priority. So make a date with yourself. That is very important while managing. Then set up supporting system. Many a times parents forget that they have to ask for help. As ma'am has said, ask for help, develop a network. As sir was saying, network of friends, as well as the third thing, if you need the help, take the help of mental health expert, that is psychiatrist. There is nothing wrong in taking help. So do consult them. First consult GP, then if required the psychiatrist. And the last thing, the meditation techniques, as both of them they say, it is very important. Take a pause, breathe, listen, and then respond. This is the way you are able to manage yourself and your child better. So thank you, Anjana ma'am. Thank you, Sunil, and thank you all parents.